Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another prediction video. 2-2 after last week. I got the result right with Waterford and Derry City, and JP got Shelbourne and Derry City right. We didn't get any correct scores. JP leads with 66 points to 65. He's just hanging in that lead, isn't he? I've never been in front. Like, you know what? I'll wait till the last game of the season and I'll just nick it at the end. That'd be beautiful, wouldn't
Well,
it?
if you nick it at the end, means if you nick it at the end means Derry nicking the league title at the end. I'll let you have it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, if it works against you both ways, though,
Well, if it shit happens, doesn't
we'll start off at Drogheda. Yeah, heading the game. Do you hear me? Heading the game. United Park, Weavers Park. It's Weavers Park at the moment, isn't it? In fairness, but Drogheda United take on Shelbourne. We've got literally bottom against top here, and obviously Drogheda will have a new player hopefully for this one. Elise should be available for this. He's on the way back from Lincoln. He was there last season, and he was quite impressive at right back for Drogheda. So that's a good coup for Drogheda United going into the game. Whether he starts or not, I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, look, they've done all right against Shelbourne this season in games, haven't they? They were 2-1 up, and Sean Boyd came up with a late winner. They're probably more vulnerable now than they were earlier on
late
the season when they
equaliser.
last played Shells, to be honest. But
A late equaliser, not a late winner.
oh, did I say late winner? Sorry, late equaliser. Yeah, it was 2-2 draw, wasn't it?
He likes
But
coming up with late equalisers in away games, doesn't he?
he does actually, yeah, yeah, he does actually. In fairness, yeah, I'm pretty sure he got a late winner somewhere as well. But
He's up in Waterford, I think.
normally I'd be confident a draw at home getting something like, or I feel like you know what I mean. They'll get something at home, but I'll go with this one first. I don't know. I just think Shelbourne came back from the break almost with an attitude, if you like, that we're here to stay. Drogheda, there's a lot of problems there. They're conceding too many soft goals. I know they're still creating chances, etc. They'll be hoping that Deegan's back for the game, I think, and Darren Markey just to give them a bit more stability in the middle of the park. Um, but I only see one winner. John Martin will probably keep his place, in my opinion. John Boyd will be on the bench, I think, because I just think that he'll stick with Martin having scored. But it's a good problem option to have for Shelbourne. Ledwidge has obviously come in to play alongside Barr since Malloy went, and look, I think he'll be fine. He's a left foot centre back as well. The way Shelbourne play, I don't think there'll be a massive difference, but we'll see what happens there. I think Shelbourne will go and win this game, JP, and I think they might win it by 3-1.
Yeah, but you look at the contrast in form. I think Shelburne have 6 wins in their last seven. I think Drogheda have 6 defeats in their last seven. So it's it in their last two defeats they've shifted 8 goals. So they're becoming a bit leaky now, aren't they?
Mm,
So I
yeah.
know they're at home in this game. They do tend to make it difficult for Shelburne. As you said, Shelburne came back off the break with an attitude that,
Mm.
that people were questioning would the momentum be killed, and it quite clearly wasn't. Um, and they seem like they've got a good squad there now, and their new signings, Ali Coot and Sam Bone, will be available.
Mm.
Whether they'll play or be involved at any stage
I
of the
will say
game.
as well quickly, it'll be likely that by the time this show goes out, Monday, Tuesday, I think there'll be signings for clubs. So there's a good chance that there will be signings for clubs. But even at that, if Drogheda were to bring in two or three, in which they may do before the game, they'll hardly be thrown straight in. And you know, we've got that settling in period as well, etc. So it doesn't really skew my thoughts on the result. But just to throw that out there, really.
Yeah, well, we know they've lost Evan Weir after Friday night. He's away back after a couple of seasons on loan. I think I read potentially going to somewhere in the English Football League. Wouldn't surprise me. Really good player for them. Big, huge loss for Drogheda. Um, Look, what they might do in this game is they might try and make it difficult for Shelburne. Um,
You'll have to.
yeah, well, they didn't make it difficult. Well, I say they didn't make it difficult for
Mm,
Derry, and they end up they didn't make it difficult for Derry, but they made Derry work for their 2-1 lead and their 3-1 lead before it went down to 10 men. But they're missing Pirou in this game.
mm.
I'm not sure if they've got anybody else.
Well, James Taylor, who signed, probably will start in this one. I think they'll have no choice
Well,
nearly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how effective he'll be. I know
Mhm.
they've Adam Foley who scored the other day, but he's also can be a liability at the other end, as we've seen him Friday night. Um, I'm with you, Keith. I can't see Shelbourne not winning this game, and I think they'll win it. I'm going to say 2-0.
You're on the same lines, really. Galway United and Bohemians at DC Park. The last you mentioned on the Premier Division show, Bowes, even though there's those games at hand, like as I said, they perform quite well against Pats, to be honest with you, but they need to kind of back it up now and go to Galway and maybe try and get the win. Galway, a bit shaky the last number of weeks, 3 wins, sorry, 3 defeats in 4 games, and it'll be interesting to see if their new signs played, like Keohane and Burns, who you mentioned, and Junior may be signed by this point as well by the time the video comes out. And Bowes, our club, I think they'll have a few signs by the time this video comes out as well. So yeah, I don't see Bowes could do that. Bowes have done that a few times. I saw them beat Shelbourne at Talca Park earlier on the season, under Alan Reynolds as well, and I thought they were standing in that game. Thought there's something to build on. Then they kind of fell
That's
back
the game
again.
where
Do you know what I mean?
that's a game where it's spearheaded 3 wins in the space of 7 days.
Yeah, and that was a brilliant performance, like. But then they kind of went back to type again. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to get from Bowes here. Like they can perform in Dublin derbies in general, can't they? They just seem to be up for Dublin derbies. So this
Now,
is a big test for them. But it's a big test for Galway as well. But I think Caulfield's going to be bitterly disappointed with the goals they give away. And usually Galway get a reaction when he is bitterly disappointed. And
but
I
it's
fancy Galway might get something out of this game, to be
my
honest
shout.
with you. Um,
It,
1-1.
it's my
Sorry,
shout.
it's you first, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? You'll take the next two. You'll take the next two. So
Um,
I'll say 1-1. You take the next two.
it's it's kind of like when we spoke about Sligo in the Premier Division show of have they got the consistency to put in a run for Europe? Bows are kind of in the same bracket.
Mm.
They're a side that can pick up a win here and there in a big game, or as I said, they picked up 3 wins in the space of 7 days and propelled them up the fourth, highest fourth, I think, at that point. Um, and I don't think they have the consistency in them to be able to challenge at the right end of the table, but I do think they have enough in them to stay away from
Mm.
keep their head above water.
Yeah. Also, it
Um,
feels like they're in a mini transition again because a lot of players are going. I feel like quite a few are going to come in now in this window.
yeah, I think the signings they bring in between now and this going out, I don't think will maybe have any impact on this game because the bedding in period, basically, I don't think that they'll be able to have an
I
impact
don't
on.
think they'll even start
Uh,
Ross Tierney. I think he might have a
uh,
few sub appearances first, in my opinion.
the last time they met at in Mendeesey Park was a 2-0 win for Bows. The
I
last
was
time
2-0, yeah.
the last time they met at Dalymount was a 1-0 win for Galway. But if I remember back rightly, uh, John Caulfield said that that was the worst performance of Galway's season, and
Mm.
they ended up going on a nine game unbeaten streak. So as you said there, he tends to get a reaction um from his players when he's angry, and he seemed a wee bit angry on Friday after the Shelbourne game. I think the game against Derry before the break, he wasn't as disappointed in that 2-0 defeat as he was on Friday night. And I think it was basically because the goals that they conceded against Derry was Derry did it made Derry work for the goals, where against Shelbourne he felt that they gifted them. So
Mm.
that's where Galway could be a bit of a
Wounded animal.
wounded animal, difficult for Bows. It's probably Bows probably don't want this kind of game. When Galway, like I said, they've lost 3 in a row on the road. They beat Drogheda, their last home game, and I think they'll win this game. And I'm gonna say 2-0 Galway.
2-0 Galway. I went for 1-1. Sligo Rovers take on Derry City at the Showgrounds. Obviously, Sligo had a great result last time out, and they've had good results against Derry. We've mentioned that many times, including earlier on in the season when they did they draw with Derry.
They've drawn twice. Yeah,
They drew twice with
not
Derry,
that
and they
one.
were on a really bad run in one of the draws as well. And Simon Perham, in my opinion, probably starts. We mentioned Panacher in the Premier Division show; he'll play too. I'm not sure if Malin be available in terms of his fitness levels. I'm not too sure if he's available and fit. Whereas Derry City, I don't think Davenport will come in. To be honest, I think they'll pretty much go with the same team that played the last day if everyone's available and fit. I know Duffy was on the bench, but I'm not sure. I think Daniel Kelly will still get the nod. McMullen, believe it or not, that's my personal opinion. I don't know what you think. I'll get on to you in a minute. But you're going to go first on this one. So yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, what am I thinking is that it's a difficult game for Derry. It always is against Sligo. Rory Higgins always points out that they tend to up their game against Derry City, and why not? It's a derby game. Form goes out the window as we always see in the Dublin derbies. Um, they're in a really good run of form. Probably the one fixture that they probably didn't want was Sligo away, especially. They're going for five in a row. They got three in a row before the break, which the first time they did that was, I think, May last year. Not sure when the last time they won four in a row. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep a momentum going and make it five. A really good one against Drogheda. Played on the front foot, kept the foot in the gas, um, got the win, and they look like a team that mean business. I think if Derry can go to the showgrounds and get the first goal,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be crucial. Um, because we know Sligo are going to try and make it difficult for Derry. So Derry probably just have to remain patient, don't panic, and just see if they get the first goal and see what kind of game they can make it then. Um, my heart's telling me Derry's going to keep the run going. Um, look, I'm going to go 1-0 Derry. See we can maybe nick it 1-0.
I'll go 1-1, I think, with this one. I think Sligo might nick a draw out of this game. Waterford and St. Patrick's Lake, I'll let you go first in this one as well. But obviously, Waterford beat Bats 3-1 earlier on the season at the RSC. It was 1-1 at Richmond Park. I do believe that they're coming up against a fitter pass team for a start, but a team looking more of a unit. However, Waterford are in brilliant form basically and will be very confident going into this game. The difference for me between the two teams at the moment, like right now, is that I think Waterford's front line overall are a bit more clinical than Pat's. You know, you've obviously got Paul Jammond there, but I think Patterson will play in this game. I think Asamoah will still be out, and he's been good in recent weeks. And Parsons, I think, whereas Mulroney and Levy are good players. Mulroney's good technically, but he doesn't score enough goals. You know what I mean? Levy, he's got a bit of pace, bit of skill about him, but again, he's let down there as well. Doesn't score enough goals, doesn't create enough. So they're not as clinical in the attacking areas as Waterford, in my opinion. Maybe Pats are a little bit stronger at the back, but Waterford are very good in the counter. I think Waterford are one of the best, if not arguably the best team in terms of counter attacking football in the league. I do think it'll be an open game because Pats are more creative under Kenny. They look to get forward more and try and play in the front foot. But Waterford will do the exact same. Keith Long was always entertained, in my opinion, too. So I actually think this could be a really, really good game. But I'm going to let you go first, see what you think.
Yeah, I think it will be. I seen Stephen Kenny putting out a plea to the St. Pat's fans. They embrace Jake Mulroney a wee bit more, and when you see a manager doing that,
Mm.
it shows that he recognizes that fans probably don't think he's as good as what he is, and the manager sees
Very
something
good
different.
ability, JP, but
Yeah,
there always seems to be something missing with him. Like, I don't know if it's
and I
effort
think
or mood or what.
I think that's what Stephen Kenny's probably trying to say to the fans without um
Mm.
coming out and publicly saying it, and he's just sort of letting them know that he sees something
Mm.
different in training that just not quite happening for him on the pitch. It's going to be a difficult game, I think, for St. Pat's. Waterford are a really good team, especially on the counter attack. We've seen that goal they scored on Friday night
Mm.
against Dundalk. I think that's where they could hurt St. Pat's because we know under Stephen Kenny. Um, some Pats will like they play on the front foot, and that could potentially leave uh, some space in behind.
Mm.
And they're really quick with Patterson and Asimo. And uh, as you see, you give Padraig Hammond a sniff and he'll finish it. And um, I know they won 3-1 down in the RSC earlier in the season against some Pats. I think that night was uh, Marcelo was in goal for Pats that night, and I think he gifted them a couple of goals. We
Mm.
know he's gone back to Liverpool now. Be interesting will Joseph Nine come in because I think he's available to play. So he's a really good signing for them. We know that his loan spell I think was cut short, wasn't it, a couple of seasons ago?
Was, yeah.
Um, so Pats fans, I'm sure, will be delighted to get him back. Um, and look, as I said in the Premier Division show, this is St. Pat's last game for a month. They'll because they didn't beat Bulls on Friday night, that they'll want to get the one in this. Just to give them a wee bit of comfort, because they could potentially come back from Europe in the bottom three. And look, we know they'll have a lot of quality between now and the end of the season to get out of it if they find themselves like that. But they'll not want to be in that position. But if they are, then so be it. I think I'm going to go 2-2. I think
Ooh.
it'll be an entertaining game, and I think
Mm.
the big goals. I'm going to say 2-2 because I think some Pats could win it, Waterford could win it, but
Mm.
I'm going to say 2-2.
We're both on the same lines, actually. I think Waterford will nick it, actually. And I was thinking 3-2, which is actually quite funny, really. 2-2, 3-2. But I think it could be an entertaining game. And I agree with you. You were saying about the spaces in behind. I think both teams will allow that. If you know, I just think Waterford will be more are likely to be more clinical um, than Pats are at using maybe that space in behind. Because Waterford will go at Pats. A little bit vulnerable at the back at times, Waterford. Pats, I think, are a bit stronger in terms of some of the personnel they have at the back. The likes of Joe, Tom Gravosti back in there, Anto Breslin and Cyberg, who I think that's probably their possibly their best defence, or certainly the best defence they've been able to put out this season in the last number of weeks. But it's just the way they're going to try and play as well. And Waterford will look to expose gaps and spaces. Breslin and Cyberg will get forward for Pats. Leahy and Power will get forward for Waterford. So that's going to give a lot of spaces out wide. And I just think Waterford are more likely to expose that than Pats are. So for that reason, I'll go for Waterford to win by 3-2. Shamrock Rovers and Dundalk at Tallaght Stadium. And I don't, I don't know what to think about Shamrock Rovers anymore, really. I mean, I'll go first for this one. But, Dundalk. Dundalk did draw there, actually, in the first game of the season.
The
Jamie Gullen
second
is
quarter,
out as well,
not
which
Jack Rovers.
that's it. Jamie Gullen is out as well, by the way. I didn't mention the Premier Division show, but he's still out. Boyle is going to be out. They might have a few defenders again by the time the videos.
Jack Johnson's last game.
It's going to be his last game as well. So, and I don't know what are you going to get for Shamrock Rovers in this game, because they look like you feel like they're feeling sorry for themselves a little bit at the moment, which Bradley won't like, really. Gary O'Neill was in the team the last day, and I feel like there's a little bit of panic coming in. I think players have been rushed back a little bit now. Lee Grace was back earlier, and I thought he would be a few weeks ago. I was a bit like, oh, really? And now he's out again. So they're kind of all over the place, and there seems to be a bit of panic down there. But I don't know. I mean, look, you can look at them and say they've got the quality. If players like they're giving up soft goals though, but can
Mhm.
Dundalk expose that though? That's what I'm thinking. You've got Ryan O'Kane, who's a good player. Horgan's a good player, obviously, but they're lacking a centre forward big time. Gullen, I think, gives them a little bit of a presence. Um, Rovers for me, just about though. I'll go Rovers to win 1-0 because Daly will set Dundalk up defensively, won't he, in this game and try and hit in the counter. Not sure they'll have enough on the counter though, and Rovers might do enough to get 1-0 Rovers.
Yeah, I think we saw Rovers against Waterford. The tally you were saying there. Um, Dundalk being clinical, one thing Waterford are clinical, and that's why they came from away from Tala with a 3-1 win. And I just don't see Dundalk having that same firepower about them to be able to do it. They may get chances in the game.
Mm.
It's whether they can take them. But I also think they will concede chances at the other end. Um, and I think Rovers will want to go into Europe on a high. I'm, when I say a high, they
Mm.
want to go on the back of a win. And they're decimated with injuries, aren't they? Really?
Mm.
And there's not a lot you can do about that. And Russian players back only
I think that's half the problem. The players are playing with different fitness levels and stuff.
it only hampers your it only hampers your chances in the long run.
Mm.
I did say that the behind closed doors they'll probably think they'll not say it publicly, but behind closed doors they're probably thinking that the league title's gone. So they're potentially maybe going to look and say, you know what, let's make sure we get third. Yourselves European football. Concentrate on the FA Cup. Yeah, they've got a difficult draw against them or against Bohemians. But I think I know they've dropped 4 points already this season against Dundalk, and they'll not want to drop anymore. So I'm with you. I'm going to say 1-0 Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, I'm not that confident about it either, though, to be honest. But I'll stick with 1-0 Shamrock Rovers. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Let us know what you think in the comments. Throw us a few predictions and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. JP, thanks for your contribution as usual. Fair play.
Here's Gabe. Thank you.
Thank you. No bother.